Hey guys, it's Tammy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the perfumes that I wore in the month of November. I can see them all on the table in front of me here, and I'm really excited to share with you. There were some really good ones this month, so stay tuned. So in October, I had broken my perfumes up into 4 categories. There was what I wore on the treadmill, bedtime scents, everyday wear, and special occasions. And I'm going to stick with those 4 categories this time. I'm going to do them in a little different order. I'm going to start with my bedtime scents. And there was one that surprised me so much. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what made me grab it that night, but I just grabbed it and I put it on, and this was Viva La Juicy Gold Couture by Juicy Couture. And this surprised me so much because I enjoyed it. Like, it made me smile. It made me feel so cozy. I've always known that it had caramel and praline and berries and all the sweet notes. I don't even know what made me grab for it because normally I don't like very sweet scents for bedtime, but this has a ton of florals in it too, and it just softened that sweetness and it just made it so cozy. It made me feel very feminine, very, very feminine. Like, I just enjoyed the wearing experience of this so much. I had really sweet dreams wearing Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. And another absolute winner, and I don't know what made me reach for this either, but I went for another caramel scent, and this is Scandale Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I don't know why I reached for this. Like, I'm not normally a person who likes to wear sweeter scents to bed. I like something just musky, powdery, cozy. I don't like sweetness. It usually bothers me. But this was beautiful. I know it has a little bit of the root beer vibe to it, but it has caramel. Let me see the other notes. Jasmine, salt, and vanilla. This is the one that whenever I would go into Shoppers Drug Mart and look at all the designer perfumes, they all just seemed boring to me except this one. I just always remember this being one that really captured my attention for some reason, and I think maybe it's the salt that gives it that little bit of contrast. It kind of does have a sparkly quality to it, like root beer does, but it's very creamy. It is creamy, it's delectable. I don't know who wouldn't love this. At times I have thought it was a little too sweet for me, but I don't know, the night that I wore this was a hit with my husband too. He thought this smelled amazing on me. He kept telling me how pretty I smelled, and yeah, this was a really good one for bedtime. Another great bedtime scent that I used to wear a lot to bed this past summer and I haven't worn for a while, and I reached for it again, is by Rado and Malik. And you guys, this is so sexy. This is an eyes roll back in my head kind of fragrance. Every time I smell this, I just like, This has some really pretty florals. There's violet and mimosa, but it also has some really sultry notes like suede and tobacco and those deeper, darker, rough, earthy kind of scents. I really get the amber in this. It is just makes it so deep and rich and, I love it. This one, like, if I was dating my own self, I would wear this to bed. The last one in this category, and probably was my favorite of the month for bedtime, was Dead Cool Milk. This is such a perfect skin scent, and there's something about the way it clings to my nightie, and I can smell it all through the night. I can smell it in the morning. I don't even have to reapply it nights 2 and 3 because it's still on my nightie. I can still smell it all through the night. I think it's because there's such a high oil concentration in these. So I wouldn't spray it on anything that you were worried about staining with oil because it is quite oily. But it is the perfect skin musk, sort of along the lines of Glossier You, sort of like Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume, something like that. But there's something much more creamy and milky about Dead Cool Milk. This was perfect for bedtime. So when it comes to the scents that I wore on the treadmill this month, there was only really one out of my collection that I wore, and that was Lake and Sky 1111. Even though my bottle has gone bad, I still do have my travel size, and this is still perfectly good. This is a crisp white amber scent. It is so clean and sparkling and crisp and fresh. It has ozonic notes, and they're done in a very modern way, I find. Oh, it's refreshing. It is like a breeze with like little sparkles of frost in it. It's so good. It just makes you feel like you're breathing pure mountain air. I can't imagine anything better for going on the treadmill. Other than that, I wore a lot of perfume samples. I was doing a lot of testing in November. So I tried Blue Madeleine, I tried Acro Bake, Lake and Sky 1111 Vanilla. That was really nice on the treadmill. They were all pretty nice, but nothing too noteworthy. And I also didn't go on the treadmill as much as usual because I had a week-long headache. It was 6 days of day and night. I had a headache, and I think one of the things I attribute it to was testing 21 Middle Eastern perfume samples in one day. And I will have a video coming up on those samples. But I tested them all afternoon, and by that night I had a bad headache, and like I said, it lasted day and night for 6 days. So I didn't go on the treadmill as much as I usually do. I didn't go at all that week. But Lake and Sky 1111 was the one for me in November on the treadmill. Now I had some more perfume all-stars for my everyday wear category, and the first one that just absolutely blew me away. It's been so long since I have picked this one up, and I'm so sorry I've been ignoring it, and that was Narciso Ombre. You guys, I just remember the first time I ever smelled this being absolutely captivated by it. It has frangipani and amber. It's like a tropical scent, but much, much deeper. The amber in this is so pretty. It's sort of like a beachy tropical floral scent, but with a lot of the Narciso musk, and it's super powdery. So it's just like the fall and winter version of a tropical scent to me, but it's so stunning. The amber in here is just a type of amber that I love. It's not an overly sweet amber to me. I wore this one day and I had the best wearing experience. I could smell it all around me all day, but it wasn't annoying. So this was just perfect. I'm so sorry I ignored you for so long, but I will be wearing Narciso Ombre a lot more this fall and winter. Armani Code, good old Armani Code. It has a lot of florals in it, but it has like a cozy ginger, the kind of ginger that's dry and like a powdered ginger, ground ginger. The jasmine in here is so creamy and pillowy. It sort of reminds me of a dessert in a way, but it's definitely a perfume. Like, it's not a gourmand to me. There is honey in it, but it does not smell like honey to me at all. I don't like the smell of honey like in real life. If I was to go get honey out of my cupboard right now, I would not like the smell of it. It's very animalic smelling to me. But there's none of that in here. It just smells like a very powdery, musky, sweet floral dessert. So this was just such an enjoyable wearing experience for me. I felt cozy all day. I could smell it all day from morning till night. But again, it was never annoying. It was just, it was perfect. I loved Armani Code. Another great wearing experience was Tom Ford Soleil Neige. And this is so powdery yet sunny. It's the perfect name for it. Soleil is sun and neige is snow. And it is kind of that perfect combination of something like bright and citrusy, but also powdery and cozy. This was a really cozy day for me wearing Soleil Neige. The next one that I really enjoyed wearing in November was Elizabeth & James Nirvana Black. I know this is discontinued, but I really enjoyed wearing this. A lot of people do have it. It's a beautiful vanilla with a very creamy, gorgeous sandalwood. And this one lasted on my clothes like 2 or 3 days. I could smell it on I wore the same shirt again. And this was blending with whatever I wore the next day. Like, this was really long lasting on my clothes. Yesterday, I wore Dead Cool Taunt. And I came downstairs and my husband was like, "What are you wearing?" And I just, you know, being cute, I said, "I just wear my black sweatpants and my white shirt." He said, "No, I mean, what perfume are you wearing? This smells really nice." And it was Dead Cool Taunt. And I did layer it with Tahari Chiffon Fresh. Usually I layer it with a Girl in Capri to bring out that little bit of citrus, but this time I layered it with Tahari Chiffon Fresh, which is sort of a mix between a Girl in Capri and Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, sort of in that family. And this was the perfect thing to layer with it. It just brought out that citrusy aspect, because this does have bergamot and it's a strong note in this to me. Even though it's a very vanilla scent, that bergamot is very noticeable to me in this one. So Dead Cool Taunt was a real hit this month. And yes, it has already begun. Fall and winter is my time for Bourbon Craft by, I think, True Fragrance, maybe. It's sort of a TJ Maxx brand. I have a little bit of a dent, but I have been sending samples to 3 or 4 of my perfume besties just to see what they think of it, because this is my perfect fall fragrance. This is fall in a bottle. It has a base of the kind of sandalwood to me like Tom Ford and Perfumes has. I've compared it to Initio Side Effect and I found it a lot like that, but sweeter. It has a very ambery sweetness to it. I don't even know what is in here. I can't find the notes listed anywhere, but I love this and I always layer it with my rose scents. I know that I layered it this month with L'Extase Rose Absolute by Nina Ricci. Beautiful rose scent, but I've also layered it with all my other rose scents too. It has begun, and I have one particular black sweatshirt that I always make sure to spray it down with this. Whenever I wear that black sweatshirt, I just saturate myself in Bourbon Craft. None of my friends have ever told me that they have found this in any store, in TJ Maxx or Marshall's, Ross, I don't know. Please be on the lookout for this, you guys. I just want someone to smell this. I want someone to share in my joy of the scent. To me, it is amazing, mind-blowing, brilliant, beautiful. I love it. I also went back to one of my old favorites, and that is Jo Malone Dark Amber and Ginger Lily. You guys, I have loved this since almost the beginning of my perfume journey. I've talked about this in my underrated gems video because I do think it's underrated. And something happened with this one that was kind of funny. So I really enjoyed the wearing experience all day long with this, and it did last for me. And I actually had been testing Guidance and comparing it to Guidance 46. And I know that I had Guidance on my left hand and Guidance 46 on my right. And Guidance 46 only lasted about maybe 6 hours, whereas Guidance lasted at least 3 days, maybe longer. But someone came to the door and I was talking to them. I was holding the door open and talking to them in the doorway for a few minutes. And as the breeze was blowing in, I was kind of thinking, man, I'm smelling Guidance really strong. I can't believe that it's still on my hand and it's still wafting up to me. So for the rest of the day, I really paid attention to see if I would smell that again. And I kept catching whiffs of what I thought was Guidance. But it wasn't actually, you guys. It was Dark Amber and Ginger Lily. And I was smelling like my sleeve where I sprayed it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it does kind of have a reminiscence of Guidance. It must be maybe the sandalwood or something. It just has that kind of banana-y musk or sandalwood that's in it. That just, it's like a creamy, sexy kind of, I don't know, it's just an unusual smell. If you've smelled it, you know. And I was getting it from Dark Amber and Ginger Lily. So that actually really surprised me. Has anyone ever experienced that same thing? Probably not. Probably just me. But anyways, I loved wearing Dark Amber and Ginger Lily by Jo Malone. And now for the last category, special occasions. And in November, there was really only one special occasion, and that was my birthday. And since I had purchased Fenty, a full bottle, a 30 ml, which is more than what I would ever need. I'll never go through this probably in my lifetime, but I wore Fenty for my birthday. Didn't layer it with anything. I just wanted to feel special. And this makes me feel special, beyond special. It makes me feel like royalty. It makes me feel like a princess. I told you guys in my community post where I was talking about being 51 now, that I wore Fenty as my scent of the day for my birthday. And it made it an even more special occasion. It really did. So Fenty was my special occasion perfume for November. So guys, these were the perfumes that I have been reaching for the most in the month of November. There was some real standouts here, some real all-stars, some real surprises. Like I was sort of shocked by how much I love some of these, and some of them I had kind of been ignoring. So it was nice to reach for them again and give them a chance to, you know, have their time to shine. What have you guys been reaching for in November? I'd love to know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.